The Beatles didn't just change music, they rewrote the entire rulebook. But what most people don't know is that their rise to fame includes rejection after rejection. A drummer swap that changed history, and a moment that almost ended the band before anyone even knew their name. Stay with me, because the story of the Beatles is filled with twists even lifelong fans have never heard. Our story begins in 1957 Liverpool, when a 16-year-old John Lennon meets a younger, quiet kid named Paul McCartney. Paul impresses John by playing a song John didn't even know the chords for, and right there, a legendary partnership is born. Soon George Harrison, the teenage guitar prodigy, joins them. But here's the first twist. The band didn't start as the Beatles. Their early names included the Quarrymen, Johnny and the Moondogs, and even the Silver Beatles. But the real transformation happens when they leave England entirely. In 1960, the young band travels to Hamburg, Germany. This is where they sharpen their skills playing long, exhausting sets in tiny clubs for rowdy crowds. This period is brutal, but it shapes their sound and stage presence more than anything else. This is also where Pete Best becomes their full-time drummer. And yes, before Ringo Starr, there was Pete. He was a fan favorite. So why did they replace him? Because the decision to fire Pete Best and bring in Ringo would become one of the most controversial moments in Beatles history. In 1962, right before recording their first single, producer George Martin expressed concerns about Pete Best's drumming. The band made a painful decision. Pete was out, Ringo Starr was in. With Ringo, everything clicked. But here's something wild. Their first single, Love Me Do, wasn't a massive hit. It only reached number 17 in the UK. No one knew yet what was coming, because the next song they released would ignite a global phenomenon unlike anything the world had ever seen. In 1963, the Beatles released Please Please Me, and everything changed. Suddenly, they weren't just a popular band, they were a cultural earthquake. Screaming crowds, collapsed barriers. The world had never seen this level of fan frenzy, and the word Beatlemania was born. In just a few years, they would conquer America, perform on The Ed Sullivan Show to 73 million viewers, and become the biggest band on earth. But while the world was celebrating them, behind closed doors, the band was transforming again. As they grew older, their music grew deeper. The Beatles shifted from pop hits to groundbreaking experimentation. Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Albums that redefined what music could be. They stopped touring, locked themselves in the studio, and created some of the most influential songs ever recorded. But even as their creativity soared, tension inside the band was rising. By 1969, disagreements, business disputes, and personal changes strained the band. They recorded Let It Be during some of their most difficult moments. And in 1970, the Beatles officially broke up. But they didn't disappear. Their legacy only grew, influencing every generation of artists that followed. The Beatles lasted just 10 years, but their impact is eternal. From small Liverpool gigs to rewriting the entire history of music, the Beatles weren't just a band, they were a revolution. If you want a deep dive into their albums, their songwriting, or the real story behind their breakup, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more music history stories.